Don't you worry, the clip's about to begin, but don't forget to subscribe. Or else. Don't make me turn this website around.
Santiago in Mexico City. How you doing?
Yo, what's good?
What is good?
Yo.
What it is?
I have a question for Vaush regarding internationalism. And I've been getting angry for the past, 4-6 years that I've been seeing more leftists in the United States organizing, because they barely mention the imperial relationship of the U.S. with Mexico and how the politics in the U.S. pretty much make up whatever policies we're going to have in regards to drugs, for example, or the Second Amendment over there really causes a bunch of guns to come into Mexico. I think 85% of guns that are in the cartel's hands come from the United States. Mm-hmm. And I was really hopeful for Bernie to win, because I thought, okay, there's going to be a guy that's going to have the interests of the Mexican people. Well, not just the Mexican people, but I guess people in Latin America in general in mind. And it's weird that I haven't seen any leftists agitate towards international solidarity, for example, in the case of guns, for example, or drugs. I mean, you guys are the biggest consumers of drugs in the world, and I fucking love to party, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, the main issue with advocating for an internationalist perspective is that Americans don't give a single fuck whether you live or die if you're not American. They don't give a shit. Americans literally don't think you're human unless you're an American citizen. We are the most selfish motherfuckers on this planet. So while an internationalist perspective from a leftist is completely, totally ethically defensible and good, and we should be doing it, from an advocacy position, it's very difficult to get Americans on board with the idea that we should give a fuck about other people. We really genuinely don't give a shit, Americans. It's actually disgusting. If you listen to more nuanced policy conversations that take place sometimes, even in Congress, even amongst our own officials, they actually do not talk about non-American citizens. They don't. We are currently justifying concentration camps at the border for legal asylum applicants. We just don't care. So I would like to see a more internationalist perspective. The problem is that if there was a lefty who had any kind of political prominence, they would burn it away in 5 minutes after beginning to talk about international imperialism. I think the best that we could do is advocate for aggressive domestic social policies progressivism and if we can get away with it, more socialist advocacy. And then once we have enough power, we just snap international perspective, because we're never going to sell the American people on it. We got to sneak it up on them. The Americans got to be like, who-do-do, I don't care about other people. And then bam, one of these days, we knock them out of the park. We get rid of the drug war. Well, we should do that for other reasons anyway. We start suing American companies who don't take enough steps to make sure their guns don't up into the hands of cartels, We start cracking down and doing investigations on people who fund the cartels. The whole goddamn thing, But unfortunately, just nobody's going to get behind that, for its own sake, It sucks.
Yeah, fuck, I guess. I guess. I used to live in the U.S. for a little bit, and I found out that people were really interested in the outside when it worked for their benefit to talk about imperialism. Let's say leftists care about bombs and shit. We're talking about liberal politics, but whenever we're talking about gun control or drugs, shit like that, it's hard. It's hard to make them care about anything. But cool.
This is a very cynical take on my part, and I could be wrong, but I think a lot of American leftists only talk about internationalism as a conduit for them to shit talk liberals, and not because they actually care that much about people outside of the country. I think for a lot of them, it's an aesthetic flourish. It's unfortunate. Probably one of the most sincere advocates for internationalism was Michael Brooks, and of course he's dead now. So we're going to need to really revitalize our approach to that issue,
There is a level of it that'll unlock and become easier as things we're talking about
international travel solutions in the coming decade. It'll probably take the full decade to get there, but where you can get to New York from New York to China in half an hour, because the first thing you do is take a little rocket to space, just lower Earth orbit, and you pop over. And we've seen, like, even in the United States, there was more division when there was just a different kind between states when their cultures could be completely different. And now the United States, with the fact that I can wake up in any state in the US and go to bed in any other state in the US in the same day, has made the world metaphorically smaller. And so some level of it will come along naturally, and we would be crazy not to take advantage of it when those advantages come up. And keep saying the phrase New World Order along the way just to piss people off.
Like, it has become smaller, but only for a small amount of people, because in order for me to go to the U.S., I would have to get a visa. I would have to get that visa approved. Then I would have to buy a ticket to go over there. Then I would have to pay a hotel, all of that. So the world is getting smaller, but, I mean, for you guys, maybe, because you guys have an economy, I guess, not that much anymore, but... I mean, for myself, I work minimum wage here in Mexico, and it's fucking hard, man.
Sure. Yeah.
Pretty soon it's going to get smaller for all of us. I have a feeling that between climate change, COVID-19, and the growing economic crisis, even Americans are going to start to have to buckle up more than we've expected we've needed to, not since the Great Depression at least. The 2008 financial crisis didn't end up hamstringing us as much as I think a lot of people expected in the long run. Like, the economy kept chugging along. It didn't create like a revolutionary economic crisis like some people kind of anticipated. But hopefully, if problems hit the US the same way they've hit the rest of the world, and they hit it hard enough, the people in this country will start to share suffering with other parts of the world, with less fortunate people with regards to their, the country they're in, and then they'll begin to care more. We'll see.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because it almost sounds like the solution is like Americans will realize they need to share when they finally don't have anything left to share. It'll out of self-interest almost. All right, Santiago, thank you very much for calling. We'll give you the last words before we let you go here.
Well, solidarity with you all. I hope you get 4 nice years of protesting by then, and I hope more riots happen, and you guys can get Switches and Xboxes out of that. So, yeah, we'll see you on the flip side.
True! That's the American dream right there.
Hey, thanks for checking out this clip for The Line. While you're here, hit that like button, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and then share this with that bitter uncle of yours who loves talking about the good old days.